Hello, my fearless seeker. Welcome in. My name is Amanda. Today's Pick a Card Tarot reading are for those who are wanting to collapse old timelines, maybe let go of an old identity or an old version of yourself, and step into or towards the higher expression, the higher self, and to craft your future with intention and with confidence. This pick a card reading was inspired by a channeled message, which I recorded a collective reading for recently. You can go check that out first if you'd like, and then come back to this reading. And collapsing old timelines, or quantum leaping, or manifesting, stepping into your higher self, this isn't just about snapping your fingers and getting what you want and what you desire. It actually starts from within first. It is about confronting your old stories or identities and not allowing those to guide you into your future anymore, but to allow your higher self to lead. But this isn't necessarily an easy thing. We have to notice our old patterns, thoughts, behaviors that still align to that old self subconsciously and are quietly guiding our choices. And when we notice that and become aware of that, we have to consciously choose differently from the energy and the feelings we want to experience. This takes inner work, most often healing, and consistent practice. If you like this kind of work and would like support on this journey, join me in my Patreon community, where you can reclaim your direction, understand your power, and transform from the inside out. I have 3 soul paths here for you to choose from today, and the messages will help give you some fresh perspective on what old timeline or energy wants to be released, what new timeline or energy is being asked to be welcomed in, and how you can bridge that gap. Always use your discernment and feel welcome to comment on what you might see or sense in the cards today. If you want to get right into it, the timestamps are in the description as well as the pinned comment section. But for those who would like a close-up of the cards and the crystals, let me do that for you right now. For Soul Path 1, we have the number 1 and the Stairs card, with the citrine stone, for Soul Path 2, we have the number 7 with the Moorland card, and the orange selenite, and for Soul Path 3, we have number 14 with the cliff, and the Dumortierite stone. So when you feel called and ready, click on the timestamp for the soul path of your choosing, and we will see you in your reading. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome in. You chose the Stairs with the number 1 and the citrine stone. This definitely feels like you've been working at collapsing an old timeline already, and you are partially there. I'm just looking at the cat that is halfway up the stairs here, and I feel a lot of your old timeline or your old identity, the old version of you that you're trying to release and let go of, has something to do with your mindset, the way you think, the way you communicate. What are the stories that are on loop within your mind when you observe something, when you think about going after something, when you're excited about something or inspired by something? There is a confidence that I feel you are building, and you are leveling up, trying to level up, and trying to find some kind of balance within the mind. So I feel like your quantum leap or your new timeline has a lot to do with your mindset. So let's hop straight into the reading. We may or may not get oracle cards at the end. I'm not sure. I will see how things feel. But when we think about number ones, I think about the Magician card. The Magician card is about using all of your resources to be able to create something from the cosmos, from your divinity, from what has not yet been created. So let's look at the old timeline, the old energy that you are trying to collapse or move away from. What is the old timeline for Soul Path 1? We have the Seven of Wands, and that is in the reverse position here. Let's look at the new timeline, or the energy of this new timeline. We have the Eight of Wands in reverse. And let's look at how to bridge the gap with the Hanged Man in reverse. Bottom of the deck energy is a hidden opportunity along this path. There's the Fool, and that comes right before the Magician. That could also be the result of all of this mindset shifting that you might be working on, working towards. What I'm sensing with this is that your old timeline has a lot to do with you giving up or being highly influenced to give up. So whenever there's an obstacle or whenever somebody says this isn't a good idea, it feels like you have a hard time standing up or defending your position, your desires, your inspirations of why you're doing something. So whenever you're tested on some level, it's like you go back to the drawing board. You don't have a lot of confidence that what you feel you want is the correct path, is the correct action, is the correct way forward, or is the thing that you really want to go after, because there's a lot of external influences that make you doubt yourself. So again, that lack of confidence is coming through with that. And also the mindset, things going on within the mind, but it is showing in your actions. So what you think about, what you absorb, what is being influenced by other people, I feel like you're really taking to heart. And with the Eight of Wands in reverse here, representing the new timeline or the energy, typically I wouldn't see that as a positive thing, but I think what is happening here is that you are doing something that nobody else expects of you, that even you don't expect. This feels like a redirection. So this new timeline that you're stepping into is something different than what you have experienced up until now. And it's almost as if you are redirecting the energy back to yourself. Rather than kind of pushing forward and forcing something to happen, you are becoming magnetic for a particular opportunity or an experience. So rather than forging ahead at rapid speed and not really having time to really process or think about where you're going and what you're doing, I feel like this is a little more of an intentional progression towards what you want, but the success and the progress and maybe the outcomes or the results will be a lot different than what you expect. I do want to get clarifiers because I don't feel that there's enough information here for me to really get deep into this message. But let's carry on before we get the clarifiers. The Hanged Man in reverse as bridging the gap. Again, this is kind of opening yourself up to the new opportunities, the new possibilities of what is possible for you. And it's not having a fixed idea of what this might look like in specific. It's about how you feel about it more so than anything. And the actions will almost take care of themselves, which is why I don't feel a lot of force coming from this Eight of Wands, is that it's not about you pushing forward and you proving yourself and you going after something. This is about you getting a different perspective of how you feel about this thing that you're wanting to move towards, that you want to create for yourself. Because that is what's going to matter most, is how you feel, how you think, how you express, and whether or not certain things get trapped, metaphorically speaking, in your web of consciousness. So when somebody says, this is weird, or why are you doing that, it doesn't really affect you in the way that it once did. And this is about really surrendering to the process of, this is what I feel I need to follow. This is my inspiration. And you don't have to justify it or explain it to anyone because you are clear about where you're going. You are comfortable with the discomfort of where this might take you or the results that you might get. You're almost impenetrable. I think that's the word. Nothing can penetrate the desire. Nothing can penetrate your will. Nothing can throw you off course. It's like you appreciate the opinions and the points of view and the perspective. You might take those into consideration, but you won't internalize them. You won't personalize them. You won't let them change your direction unless you discern whether or not that is correct for you, that is true for you. Maybe it's a perspective that you didn't actually consider, and all of a sudden, yeah, that makes sense, so let me put that into motion, or let me consider that, or implement that, so that I can have a better success rate or a better chance of moving towards this new timeline or energy. I feel too that the mind is really influencing your actions, so that is also something to look at and gain a new perspective about. You have to surrender what you currently believe about yourself so that you can take new action, make new choices, maybe move in a different direction. And this Fool at the bottom of the deck tells me that there are brand new possibilities that you cannot conceive right now that are possible for you. But again, it's different than what you expect. So it's not seeing the entire picture of where you're going and what you're doing, but stepping into the feelings, stepping into the thoughts and the actions and the feelings that you want to have in this new timeline, and positioning yourself there with every action that you make in a day, with every choice. If there's something that you want to chase, that you want to step towards it with confidence. And when those old storylines or beliefs or patterns come chiming in, how will you catch that and rewrite that story? What will replace that old thought? So let's get some clarifiers. I want to know what the Seven of Wands in reverse is about. The old timeline, the old energy. Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so both cards of movement. One is moving with the heart. And then it's like somebody comes in and says, wait, hold up, stop. This is like the crossing guard. This is the feeling that I'm getting, is that you are the Knight of Cups moving towards the things that you passionately desire, that you'd like to do, that you'd like to achieve, accomplish, experience, feel specifically. And then all of a sudden, maybe another person in your life, maybe your subconscious self as well, is like, hold up. No, stop, do not pass go, do not collect $200, turn back, there's nothing to see here. It's like your subconscious is trying to keep you safe, or there's someone else with good intentions that is trying to keep you from failure, keep you safe, etc. But it's preventing you from moving at all. It is keeping you in this loop of trying and maybe metaphorically failing, or not moving beyond a certain point. So it's like you can't climb the stairs. It's like you're perpetually at this midpoint where You're not really in the old timeline anymore, but you're not really in the new either. It's because you hit this like ceiling, this wall, this breaking point, and you're either encouraged to turn around and go back, or you're encouraged to just stop and do not proceed at all. But this also could be a good reflection point too of when you hit these particular points along this journey, to try to gain a new perspective of what is happening here. When I stop and I have that fear, or when somebody says this isn't a good idea, and I take that to heart and I turn around or I stop doing the thing, but yet I keep coming back to that thing that I want to pursue, what is going on within you? What is happening in your actions? And clearly there is a reason that you keep coming back to this thing. So it's what is preventing you from pushing past this barrier? There's a barrier or a block here. And I think that is part of bridging the gap, is to get a new perspective, to actually pause, stop, look around, until you gain that clarity so that you can move past that. It's like in a video game where you just can't get past this particular boss or this particular point in the level. And you always die at the same spot, kind of in the exact same way. And you have to restart the level over and over and over again. But you still go through the level. You still grow through the motions, hoping that with practice, you're just going to get better and better and be able to defeat the boss. But there's something that you're doing. There's buttons that you're clicking, or the timing that's happening. There's something tripping you up. And so you keep going through this loop. What is this Eight of Wands? What is this Eight of Wands? So yeah, opening yourself up to new possibilities, believing that it's true, even if you don't have evidence for it quite yet, because self-belief is going to be important. I feel you're going to be dissolving a lot of illusions in this process as well, but it requires you getting uncomfortable. Yeah. So, bottom of the deck, I'm just curious. The World is at the bottom of the deck in reverse, and the Fool comes right after that. So we've got a few reversals here. The reason why this Eight of Wands might be in reverse is because there is something that you have to learn before you can actually move forward. So the new timeline or energy is very aligned, is going to move you to new places, new spaces, helping you have a different mindset. But the shift has to happen before that happens, is what I'm getting. So what I'm feeling with the Star in reverse and the Six of Swords in reverse is that this is part of your purpose. And I feel it's bigger than you maybe expect or have experienced before, which is why it might be a little scary. Because you kind of question, am I good enough? Is this going to work? Am I going to succeed? You will if you have this mindset shift. When you come to this stopping point, this block, this obstacle, how will you bridge that gap? How will you work through those repetitive stories, the things that keep you stuck or making you feel like you can't move forward? And I feel like that's part of your journey here, which is why the World is in reverse. The World is Saturn energy, and when Saturn is in retrograde, this is about going over things to integrate a lesson, to address an unresolved issue. So I feel once that is completed, once you have passed go, once you have moved beyond this barricade that is in your way, that is telling you to stop, then I feel you're truly going to step into this Eight of Wands energy, the Star energy, and finally getting that perspective shift that you need to move beyond where you are to step into where you want to be. So your next empowered choice right now is to notice where you stop yourself, why you stop yourself, and if there's any external influences that stop you along this journey, What are they making you feel? What belief or stories are they confirming for you that may or may not be true? So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 1. If this reading resonated, you'll feel right at home in my Patreon community. As a member, you'll get monthly energy reports, guidance for your deepest questions, and extra tarot readings to support your fearless growth. This is your space to step fully into your power. Founding member spots are $2 a month, giving full access plus the chance to shape the community. There are only 20 spots available at this rate, and once they're gone, this tier won't return. So lock in your seat now. The link is in the description. Remember, you're not here to sit back and wait for your future predictions to come true. You're here to take an active role in creating it. I will see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome into your reading. You chose the red selenite stone with the Moorland card, number 7. I feel like where you want to go is very abundant. There's a lot of blessings or magic that you would like to experience. But I feel you've been disappointed in your past. So part of your old story or your old identity might be about releasing those old disappointments or the expectations that you are putting on the potential new experiences that you could have. So a quick example might be if you've always been disappointed in relationships or friendships and people have let you down. I feel like when you meet new people, there's already a belief that comes in that this person is going to leave or disappoint me or frustrate me. So now is the time to possibly break free from those expectations that people might have of you or that you have of yourself as well. And I'm noticing a lot of skulls here. So there's something about you putting something to rest so that you can open yourself up to the abundance that you would like to have or see. And maybe there's an element of you doing what others would like you to do. So there's an element of people pleasing that could be part of this storyline as well. And so it's connecting with the person that you are by making sure that what you choose and stand for is rooted in your own desire and not what someone expects of you and what you expect of yourself as well. Oh, this is interesting. We have a card already coming out. That is very interesting. 5 of Wands. So yeah, there's kind of the battle, if you will, that could be part of your old timeline where you are struggling to be heard, to be seen, and struggling to find your place in a conversation or in a particular relationship. I just feel like I'm being buried under the weight or the pressure of something here. So we'll see if that one comes out again. What is the old timeline or energy? We have the Star in reverse. And to me, that tells me that you haven't really been either clear about what you want to do and why, or where you would like to go and why. Maybe you're a little cloudy about where your desires begin and where someone else's ends. So there's a blurring of lines there. And maybe you've been disconnected from your purpose or your passion because of that energy of maybe wanting to make others happy or being a support for other people. But it hasn't really given you room to step into your own passions, desires, purpose. So what is this new timeline or energy that wants to come through? Oh, look at that. There's your place. 10 of Cups in the upright. That's lovely. And that just doesn't have to, what am I trying to say? That doesn't just have to do with family, although that could be it. This is about community, about finding your place in life, in friendships, in relationships, in connection with other people, whether that is the larger community, your neighborhood, your town, or whether it is in those intimate communities of you and another person, or you and a family unit. This could be soul family as well. So that's kind of what I was getting with that Moorland card, is that abundance of love, that abundance of connection and relationship, and maybe you not feeling at home, or I was going to say in place, but not in the right place among the right people. So let's bridge the gap with the Justice card. And that is about restoring balance. That is also about unbiased decision making. So again, with that idea of not having those expectations of, once you find yourself in this new experience with these new people, new groups, new communities, to not assume that they will be like your past experiences, especially if you're choosing from a different place, making choices from a very grounded place, a very neutral place. You're not basing your decisions on fear. You're not basing your decisions on maybe old patterns, old storylines that you are telling yourself. And then 3 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck in reverse. So I do feel that there has been a certain level of mistrust, which is interesting, that's coming through on the 3 of Pentacles, but somebody's not pulling their weight in a certain situation. You haven't had a lot of cooperation with the people in your life. And it's interesting that I'm getting relationships or communities or family dynamics. I feel like the balance has been quite skewed, where you had to do a lot of work to keep things in balance because other people weren't doing that work and maybe had certain expectations of you of doing that work or keeping things in balance, keeping the peace. But I feel that timeline is breaking for you because you're making new choices, not based on emotion, not based out of fear, but based on where you truly want to be and how you truly want to feel. You want to feel in true connection, where you feel supported, where you feel like there is collaboration and teamwork. So part of the expectations that were coming through with that initial card is coming through again, where you have to accept what is so that you can start to see things for what they are and who for what they are, or who they are, so that you can come to this non-biased judgment about, okay, if this is how it's going to be, then I need to move on, or I need to step back, or whatever your decision is in that moment that aligns to how you want to feel and how you want to be supported. That's where I feel this old timeline is collapsing, is in those new choices. And part of that is that acceptance of what is, of not expecting things to be any different, but accepting them as they are. There could be some resentment that comes through here, especially in the old timeline, where you have felt, have felt resentment for not being able to pursue your dreams, of not being as seen or heard or supported in the way that you have supported others. So again, there's that imbalance of effort coming through. And I think you're done with that now. So it's about making a new choice, not based on critical judgment, but of unbiased, neutral judgment of what is best for me at this time. What is going to serve my highest good? Maybe even for the highest good of all, because when you start to make new choices based on your highest good, then other people will naturally have to step into their highest good as well, because they will have to learn the lessons and do the work for themselves rather than you having to do that work on their behalf. So that could be something that is shifting in this. And there's also something about karmic relationships as well, karmic lessons that are happening in this space. So It's not just about you making these decisions. This is something that I feel that you were here on this earth to learn karmically. Could be part of your astrological chart as well, where it is about you stepping into your confidence to find your place in the world, in life. So the star card in reverse, old timeline or energy. Let's clarify. 5 of Swords. Yeah, you didn't want to rock the boat. You did not want to rock the boat. You didn't want to have conflict or confront people. You might have been around a lot of people that were very confrontational, that were very defensive. And yeah, that really confused things because they may have made you felt like you couldn't go after what you wanted, that your dreams, your hopes, your wishes, your desires were not good. And that's kind of a nice way of putting it. So it's like you had this feeling of this is what I want, and then you were shut down, you were ignored, you were put down in some way, and so you never chased those dreams because these other people were very loud. And maybe their needs or desires came first, and you were made to feel guilty that you even had dreams to begin with, that you had desires to begin with. So what is this 10 of Cups? What is this 10 of Cups? It's a great energy. 10 of Cups. Clarify this, please. Thank you. One more. Many more. What is this 10 of Cups? Maybe they only wanted to show one. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we have the 4 of Swords and we have the 2 of Swords. With the King of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, there is your Moorland, there is your abundance. And it's not just monetary. It is about you feeling good within your body, within your physical environment. There's health, there's wellness, there is an abundance of the things that you need to feel safe, secure, comforted. So there is a lot of security within yourself there as well. I'm going to keep him out as I did with the other one. So what I'm getting from this is that you needing to step back into your own personal space, because we have the 5 of Swords here. This is you stepping away, providing yourself a sanctuary to be able to really move through some difficult decisions that you may have to make. That's going to be part of that. So this is about moving with your intuition, because the choice that you have to make may not be necessarily logical. So it's trusting that. You may be at a crossroads for some time before you start to take action on those decisions, and let that be okay. I feel like you have a certain level of processing and healing that has to be done in order for you to fully step into this timeline, to this new energy that wants to come through. So your empowered action in the most immediate future is to look at where you have suppressed your desires to please others or prevent conflict, and even just make note of what those desires are and what you've been putting off or putting on the back burner, and what kind of decisions might you need to make in order to move yourself forward in the direction of your purpose, your dreams, your wishes, your desires. So again, spend some time really considering that. Don't rush this process, and know that it is possible. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 2. If this reading resonated with you, you will feel right at home in my Patreon community. As a member, you'll receive monthly energy reports, guidance for your deepest questions, and extra tarot readings to support your fearless growth. This is your space to step fully into your power. Founding member spots are $2 a month right now, giving you full access plus the chance to shape the community. Only 20 spots are available at this rate, and once they're gone, the tier will not return. Lock in your seat now. The link is in the description. Remember, you're not here to sit back and wait for your future predictions to come true. You are here to take an active role in creating it. I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome into your reading. You chose the Dumortierite stone. I think I'm saying that right. With the cliff, number 14. You could find yourself in a very unfamiliar place, or maybe you feel like you've taken a wrong road and you're in a place that you don't recognize or you don't really know how to get out of. Maybe you are regretting some of your choices because you are in a place that you didn't think you'd be, and now you're not really sure how to move forward. So it could feel like a bit of a dead end, but this may just be a point where you need to take a little bit of a risk. And you might fear that because maybe you've taken a risk in your past and it's gotten you here. So there's a lack of faith in your decision making here, a lack of self-trust. But I would take a look at what you've learned along this journey, what you've learned about yourself, what you've learned about what you want, because maybe your wants and needs and definitions of success have changed. So it's about seeing yourself or seeing the situation beyond the obvious. So certain things might be falling away, collapsing. That's okay. It may not have been expected, but there could be an underlying reason for that. So allow this moment to be a moment of possibility and opportunity. And for some reason, I'm getting the Fool card with this cliff because the Fool is quite literally at the edge of the cliff, ready to jump off. So it's kind of also having that childlike energy of what will happen next. There's a curiosity, there's a naivete coming through with that. So let's look at the old timelines and energy. What is the old timeline that you are collapsing, moving away from? We have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So I feel like the rose-colored glasses have come off. This feels like maybe at one point you were chasing a desire, but now you want to not do that thing anymore. And I think you're having a hard time with this because you once wanted it, but now it's like you're not really connecting with it. You're not resonating with it. You want to pull back. You want to go back, go in the other direction. So there's an element of regret or an element of awakening even. And maybe you haven't really followed what's been in your heart. We'll get to that in a sec. Ace of Pentacles in the upright here as the new timeline or energy. So like I mentioned before, there's brand new opportunities in the new timeline with the new energies that are coming in that maybe you're moving towards and that you don't know yet. How do we bridge the gap here? How do we bridge the gap? This could even be a regret of a relationship as well, or maybe a relationship fell away, ended, and you didn't expect it, and now you wish that you didn't enter into the relationship to begin with. The Tower, bridging the gap, yeah. This is bigger than you think. The Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck, oh my goodness. Okay, it's all good. It is in reverse, but I'll get to that in a sec too. So the Knight of Cups, yeah, there's something that either you chased and it didn't work out like you expected, or you haven't been able to move towards what you desire. And we'll get clarifiers because not enough information is coming through on this one. But it's like the rose-colored glasses fell off, and now you kind of want to go back. You want to start over again. The old timeline may not have been as desirable as you thought it was going to be as well. So there's a lot of disappointing energy coming through with that. There's a lot of regret and maybe resentment even. But either way, I think there is a lot of emotions that are happening at this time, especially in your old energy, old timeline. Maybe there's been a lot of people that have pulled back or left your life. And so now you're a little wary about connecting with people. And the new timeline or energy is brand new opportunities that are a little more solidified. So when we talk about cups, we think about water. There's a lot of fluidity there. There's a lot of flexibility there. It can be unstable as well, especially in the reverse. But in the upright of the Ace of Pentacles, this is solid. This is stable. This is something that you can see, feel, hear, touch, something tangible that you can work at and work towards. So if this has to do with a passion that you're moving towards, something that you would like to bring to life, a new business, working on a project, whatever it is, it's like it's no longer fleeting in this new timeline. It is actually something that you can actively pursue and see tangible results with. Now, how to bridge the gap? It's pretty big energy. And we've got the Tower. And this requires a lot of restructuring, a lot of internal restructuring, but possibly a lot of restructuring within your life as well. This is kind of a collapse of everything that you knew to be true and allowing those things to fall away, not having any judgment, not having any regret. So there's a neutrality that comes with this and that is required in order for you to start again and start from a new place, start from scratch or square one with brand new energy and a brand new perspective, maybe even taking brand new action. So maybe moving a little slower, maybe being more realistic or practical in your execution so that you can lean on the process or have a more plausible outcome, more solidified outcome than you did in your past. So rather than it being fleeting, rather than it being fluid and unpredictable, there's something about predictability with the Ace of Pentacles. There's something about a little more security, something that you can build off of, something that you can build on that is solid. And the Tower, it was built on faulty foundations, which is why it is crumbling to the ground. So I believe that there's a lot of things that need to collapse in terms of your perspectives, maybe the way you feel about something or someone, and a restructuring of how you perceive lessons in life, how you integrate those lessons rather than pushing them away and regretting them. This is about accepting it and understanding what you've learned from it so that you can apply it to the new timeline, to the things that you would like to feel and would like to achieve. So the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is about how you deal with unfair, unlucky situations, how you deal with adversity, how you center yourself, meaning grounding yourself. And what's interesting is that the Ace of Pentacles is a very earth energy. It is an earth element. So grounding yourself is going to be a significant practice in moving through the changes that are either happening, have happened, or will happen in the future so that you aren't so, I want to say dejected, but thrown off by the things that change in your life that are unexpected or unwanted. How do you deal with that energy of unwanted changes, of undesired changes? How do you try to control those circumstances or experiences? This is coming back to how you manage and handle change, how you release, how you process something, so that it doesn't live in your body, it doesn't live in your belief system, and is integrating into your life in a way that forms your life in a way that may not be ideal. So let's look at a little bit of detail here with the tarot. Oops. What is this Knight of Cups in reverse? Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. This definitely feels like a relationship, unstable family dynamic or home life. Yeah, we've got the Four of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck in reverse there. So there just feels like a lot of instability in your past. And it's like you expect that. You expect things to fail. You expect things to be unstable. You might feel a certain way about it at first, but then the doubt creeps in. This idea of it's never going to work, or I can't get... There's a lot of limiting beliefs or limiting thoughts that occur because you are fearful of things working out because they've not really worked out in your past. So you don't want to hang your hat on that belief, on the faith that something will succeed or work out, because a lot of times it probably hasn't. So yeah, I feel like a lot of it has to do with your childhood. Maybe the belief that was instilled in you that you can't make your dreams come true, or you can't be creative, or you're too sensitive. Maybe your emotions were suppressed in some way. And yeah, there just feels like a lot of things going on there. But yeah, so you haven't been able to fully expand into your dreams because I feel there is an inner critic, or maybe an instability and insecurity that is preventing you from moving into something that feels more fulfilling, more grounded, more stable. So let's look at the Ace of Pentacles and what this is all about in the new timeline or energy. So yeah, because the Tower is here, I do feel like, and because I feel this is very foundational, like from your past, childhood foundational, I think there's a lot of inner child healing that has to be done, maybe some CPTSD work that could be done as well to start unraveling those patterns from the root. So working at the root, from the root, to be able to rewrite those patterns of thought, those self-imposed, that's not the right word, those storylines that you're telling yourself that you feel you are destined for, that you will never be. So there's something about rewriting those beliefs from the core, from the root, and stepping into your power, stepping into your creativity, and being ruthless about it. That is part of this hidden opportunity, is you just being really ruthless about your truth and going after what you want with so much confidence that it'll make people's heads spin. There's so much power in the King of Wands. And with the Five of Wands in reverse, it's like, nah. Nothing in the external world, like, you got this. This is drawing your power back from all of the past experiences that are keeping you small, are keeping you stuck, are telling you that you can't, that you never will. And with all of that root work too, that's also going to help you find stability in times of change and possible chaos. To know in your heart of hearts that you can overcome anything, that nothing can stop you, that you are unshakable. And that your passions, your desires are valuable and important. But it requires a risk of letting go of the old stuff, the old identity, the old beliefs that tell you that things are always going to go sideways. It is time to cut that out now. And to acknowledge the past, acknowledge what you've learned, Acknowledge how it's shaped your life until now and start making new choices so that it no longer negatively affects your life, suppresses your emotions, suppresses your dreams, prevents you from experiencing new things. So your next empowered step is, how can you rebuild a new foundation for yourself? If you were in this new timeline already as the King of Wands, someone who is confident and empowered, stable, inspired, what kind of beliefs or storylines or actions would you have to let go of in order to start embodying that energy? And how can you center yourself or find grounding practices that offer you a sense of stability, calm, and safety in times of challenge and change? I feel like you needed 2 there, so I offered 2 empowered steps. So this is what I have for you, my dear Soul Path 3. If this reading resonated with you, you're going to feel right at home in my Patreon community. As a member, you'll get monthly energy reports, guidance for your deepest questions, and extra tarot readings to support your fearless growth. This is your space to step fully into your power. Founding member spots are $2 a month right now, giving you full access plus the chance to shape the community. Only 20 spots are available at this rate, and once they're gone, this tier won't return, so lock in your seat now. The link is in the description. Remember, you are not here to sit back and wait for your future predictions to come true. You're here to take an active role in creating it. I will see you in your next reading.